Hello ladies and gentlemen, Scared204 here bringing you another Minecraft Modern Warfare aircraft tutorial. In this tutorial, we'll be going ahead and building the PZL W-3 Sokol. The PZL W-3 is a medium-sized twin-engine multi-purpose helicopter developed and manufactured by Polish helicopter company PZL Swidnik, now owned by Leonardo. It was the first helicopter entirely designed and produced in Poland. The variant we have in front of us is known as the W-3WARM and Anakonda. It was a modernized search and rescue helicopter for the Polish Navy, with upgraded and standardized equipment. 8 helicopters, 2 W-3s, and 6 W-3WARMs received the upgrade and entered service from 2017 to 2020 and still currently in use. And personally, I think this is my favorite variant of the helicopter. It's pretty cool, and I love the little orange accents to it, so that is why I chose to build this one in particular. Hopefully we can kind of explore this a little bit more and do the one with the gun on it, because I think the gun version is also really sick, but this one here was just really cool. I love the orange markings, and this is definitely more of a search and rescue helicopter than a combat helicopter. Before we go ahead and jump into taking a look at this build, I do want to go ahead and give a big thanks to Derek Frost Westbrook for commissioning this build. If you're interested in commissioning a build for yourself, definitely feel free to check out my whole community post on about commissioning builds. But a little summary here is you can go ahead and either email me on my email, garrett2before@gmail.com, or you can go ahead and reach out on Discord, and we can get you hooked up with the commission and all that stuff, and discuss pricing and all that. So definitely feel free to take advantage of that, and I look forward to working with some of you guys in getting your builds built. With that though, let's go ahead and dive in here to taking a look at the PZL W-3. So start off with, we have the obviously the nose of the helicopter. This here is one of the major upgrades for it, and has a little movable spotlight, and also a infrared type camera or a night vision camera that's located on the side there. So again, just more devices and instruments for helping aid in search and rescue efforts. On the left side here, we have the main door that you would use to rappel from. It has the winch and all that stuff mounted on the side, and it also has a secondary window back there. Of course, we have the Polish symbol there on the side, or their Air Force's symbol. We have the top up here, which has the massive intakes there for the engines, and then the engines on the sides. And then going back, we have the aircraft number, the coloring on the tail here, and then we have the vertical stabilizer, the horizontal stabilizers, and that's pretty much the rear of the helicopter. This number here, 0183, is actually based off a real version of the helicopter that's modified to have this loadout package. So that's also just a little fun fact for it. But we have a landed version and in-flight version for you guys in this tutorial, so you'll be able to pick and choose what you want to have here. And yes, there is a slight difference between the two. But that's kind of it for this overview of the helicopter, and with that, let's go ahead and jump into our first layer of the build. Alright guys, so going ahead and moving into our first layer of the build, we'll be going ahead and starting with layer number 2. Now, before we go ahead and dive right into everything, I want to go ahead and quickly explain that the landing gear is going to be in different orientations depending on how you're going to position this aircraft. If you want it flying, you will want to make sure that you have just plenty of space underneath this, at least 2 blocks. If you are planning on having this landed, you want to make sure that this layer 2 is 1 block up from the ground level. So you can see we have the ground level, we have a space of 1, and then we have the start of layer 2. That is how you're going to want to position the helicopter if you are going to want to do a landed version. If you're doing the in-flight version, obviously really not that big of a deal. Just make sure you have at least 2 blocks of space underneath the aircraft to put the landing gear on. We're going to go and leave the landing gear for a little bit later in the video, but for the time being, we can go ahead and build what we can. So to start with, we're going to place down a row of green terracotta. This here is going to be a total of 8 green terracotta blocks. We then want to place down a polished black stone wall here in the front, and then we're going to place down a upside down piston coming off that wall going forward. If you are on a version that does not have access to this tool called the debug stick, you can go ahead and substitute this out for a red sandstone upside down stair. That would be a good substitute for the piston. However, if you are able to place the piston, I highly recommend placing it. We're going to place down a smooth red sandstone top slab, and then a acacia wood trap door. Coming off the acacia wood trap door, we're going to place down an item frame, a white concrete block in the item frame, and an acacia wood sign over it like so. We're also going to place down an acacia wood trap door to the side of this top slab, another smooth red sandstone top slab back, and then we're going to place down another upside down piston that's going to be in this spot here. Again, you can substitute that for a red sandstone upside down stair. So let me just go ahead and grab that real quick. So you can go and do a stair like that upside down next to it. And I'm going to go ahead and fix this real quick because I accidentally broke it. It might be a little bit more difficult than I thought it would be. But yeah, so just like this, and you have those placed, and I'm going to have to break more stuff to get it to fit. There we go. Anyways, back from that piston, we're going to go ahead and then place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green terracotta blocks. And then we want to place down another upside down piston on the back here. And again, these can be substituted out, and I would recommend probably using a dark prismarine upside down stair. That would kind of sit like this. Then on the back here of this block, we're going to place down another dark prismarine top slab. Once that's done, we're going to place down a top slab to the side here of this piston or the stair, whichever you had placed. Then we're going to place down 2 mossy cobblestone walls. And then we want to place down 2 dark prismarine stairs. And we're going to go ahead and place down warp signs on the front there of those 2 stairs. We're going to place down another 2 mossy cobblestone walls. And then 2 dark prismarine top slabs. And again, coming off these top slabs, like we did for the stairs, we're going to place down the warp signs. So it is going to look like that there on the back or on the sides. We're also going to go ahead and place down a end rod that's going to be coming off this wall that's going to be right next to it. So I'd recommend probably placing a block here and then the end rod on top of it like that, and that'll be for our landing gear, which we're going to get to a little bit later. After that's done, we're going to go ahead and then move to the front, and I would recommend at this point in time copying both sides over so you have basically the entire base done. So if you're completely new to my aircraft tutorials, I should have probably mentioned this sooner, but this is going to be basically the center line, and we're going to build everything on the right side, and then the left side's up for you to copy over. So basically at this point in time, we have the right side built. You're going to take that same design, copy it over to the left side, and make sure everything is good to go from this top-down view. Now, once you have everything copied over and everything is good, we do have a little bit of a difference, and that's going to be up here in the front. Now, in the front of the build, we're going to go ahead and place down a polished blackstone stair on the left side, coming off that acacia wood trapdoor. We're going to place down a wither skeleton skull on the front of the stair that's facing toward the rear, and then a dark oak wood sign on the side of the stair. On the back of the stair itself, we're going to place down an item frame and a snowball in the item frame like so. On the other side, on the right side, it's going to be a little bit more simpler. We're just going to go ahead and grab ourselves a black concrete block, and we're going to place it down on the side of this acacia wood trapdoor. So really straightforward and simple stuff for that. So yeah, that right there is what we want to have set up, and that's going to complete everything we have for our first layer, layer 2. With that, we'll probably go ahead and drop down to layer 1 and just make sure we get all the little details underneath there, and then we'll talk about the landing gear depending on the version you have. With that though, let's go ahead and move on to our layer 1. Moving on to our next layer, we have layer number 1. For layer 1 to get started with here, we're going to place down a fence gate that's going to be underneath this slab here, and we're going to open that fence gate toward the outside, and the same thing is going to happen over here on this side as well. And again, we're going to open that to the side. We're going to go and then just place down a dark oak wood fence gate on the side of that, or a dark oak wood sign on the side of the fence gate. After that's done, we're going to go ahead and then go on the left side here, and we're going to place down 2 dark oak wood trapdoors. They're going to be here kind of in front and down from these mossy cobblestone walls. And then on top of those, we're going to place down 2 levers like that pointed toward those mossy cobblestone walls. Then back here, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing, except these here are going to, or these trapdoors are going to come off of this spot. So kind of one back from this wall, and then one more back from it like that. And then again, we're going to place down our levers and have those aimed toward the fuselage of the aircraft. So that is all we need to do for layer 1, really simple stuff, and we have that done for both sides now. Now at this point in time, we're going to go ahead and jump into discussing the landing gear and what to go ahead and go about doing for each of it. So with that, let's go ahead and dive into the landed version of the helicopter. Alright guys, so moving into our landing gear, the first part we're going to start with here is going to be the landed version of the helicopter. So again, this is the version here where we have 1 block of space between our layer 2 and the ground level. You need to make sure that's correct, because if not, the helicopter is not going to sit properly. So to get started with here, we're going to be going ahead and placing down a polished blackstone brick block, and it should be underneath this polished blackstone wall. On the sides of this block, we're going to place down a tripwire hook on the front side, and then we have this banner design I did, which is basically just an orange banner with a black border and a black horizontal line for the center. Really simple. I'm not going to show it in the loom because it's just really straightforward. And this here is just going to go on the side of this polished black stone stair to both sides, like that, to go ahead and create that front wheel. Now for the rear wheels, they're a little bit more complex. We have a little bit more going on. So to get started with these, we're going to go ahead and begin with by taking a prismarine top slab. We're going to place it underneath this stair. So it's going to sit right there. Then we want to go ahead and place down a top slab that's going to come off of this and go back. So it's going to sit underneath that end rod. After that, we're going to place down a fence gate that's going to come off this slab. So like so. And we're going to place down a dark oak wood sign on the side of this slab like so. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and place down a polished black stone wall in front of this fence gate and then one more back. We're also going to place down a dark oak wood sign on the side here of this wall. And then we just want to place down 2 wither skeleton skulls facing each other like that on top of those 2 walls to go ahead and make our rear wheel. We're also going to go ahead and take this other banner, these other 2 banner designs I have, and they're again going to be orange banners. We're going to do a black line that goes vertically on the left side of one banner, a black line that goes vertically on the right side of the other, and then both banners are going to have a black horizontal line through the center to go ahead and create that design. This here is going to go on the sides of the polished black stone walls with the orange facing toward each other. We're going to go ahead and go to the other side, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side here, just like this. And we're going to set up this wheel. It's going to be the same steps that we did before. Take that back like so, sign here, and then again our wither skeleton skulls, and then the banners on the side there of that. So just like that, and we have our landing gear complete and set up for the landed version of the helicopter. The next section we're going to be going ahead and diving into is going to be the in-flight version, and also just so we don't have to worry about the landing gear and to get it out of the way, we're also going to go ahead and be placing down a block or a zombie head on top of this end rod. It's going to be coming off a block like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and place this on both sides here. We're going to save that for later to fill in the top layer after we get the everything else done for the other in-flight landing gear. But that is right there is what we want to have set up for our landing gear and have that all complete. As I mentioned, I'm going to go ahead and now move into the in-flight landing gear. So if you are wanting to just do the landed version, feel free to go ahead and skip ahead in the video to where we continue on with layer number 3 of the build. But yeah, with that, that's it for the landing gear, and with that, let's move on to the in-flight landing gear. Moving into the landing gear of our build for the in-flight version, we'll be going ahead and starting off by going ahead and going underneath this wall here, and we're going to place down an end rod that goes down like so from it. We're also going to place down a polished black stone brick block, and then we're going to place down a tripwire hook coming off of it like that. We're going to then place down an item frame to both sides of this block, and then a orange stained glass pane in the item frame just like that. So that's what it's going to look like right there. After that, we're going to go and move to our rear gear. We're going to place down a dark prismarine top slab to both sides, and then we're going to go ahead and then place down a polished or a dark prismarine stair underneath that end rod. And we're going to do the same thing over here on this side as well. And then we want to go ahead and drop down from this stair. We're going to place down a top slab and then out to the side. And over here, same thing. Go down and out to the side. We're going to go ahead and then grab ourselves polished black stone walls. We're going to place down a wall here and a wall right behind that. And then we're going to place down wither skeleton skulls on top of those. And same thing over here. Wall here, here, and wither skeleton skulls again on top of those walls facing toward each other. And then we just want to place down a lever on this top slab that's going to be facing toward the back here of the stair. So that's going to basically set us up there for the landing gear for the in-flight version. And that is really all you need to do for that. So it's pretty straightforward, a little bit easier. Unfortunately, you do miss out on some of the cool little details of the landed one with the use of banners for the wheels, but unfortunately that's just how it is with how we have to do it here for the in-flight version. That though is going to wrap up everything we have for the in-flight version of the build, and with that we'll be going ahead and now moving back into our layer by layer system and moving on to layer 3. So before we go ahead and move on to layer 3, I want to make one quick addition that should have been done in layer 1, but I forgot to do it. We're going to be going ahead and going to the second green terracotta block that's going to be right behind this piston, so it's going to sit here. And we're going to place down an item frame coming off that with a white concrete block in the item frame, and then a dark oak wood sign on the side there if you're on Java. We're going to do the same thing over here on this side as well, and it's just mainly to create these little spotlights that are on the bottom of the fuselage. So that is going to be done to both sides just like that. And that is all you need to do for that, and we can go ahead and now move on to our next layer, moving into our next layer, we have layer number 3. Now layer 3, we're going to start off by going ahead and placing down an orange concrete block on top of this trapdoor, and then we're going to place down a red sandstone upside stair coming off it going forward. We're going to go ahead and place down a row 4 of black concrete going back, and this right here is just to fill in the inside where the cockpit's going to be. We are not going to be doing an interior on this build, so we're just going to fill it in with some black. Then we want to go ahead and place down a row of green terracotta. This row is going to be a total of 8 blocks, and then a dark prismarine upside down stair there on the very back. Once we have that done, we're going to place down a second dark prismarine upside down stair next to that, and then we're going to go forward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 green terracotta blocks, 2 black concrete, a orange concrete, and then a black stained glass, another orange concrete block, and then a skeleton skull like that on the front. We're going to go ahead and also place down a acacia wood fence gate on top of this black concrete block and open it toward the black stained glass. And over here on this side, we should do the same thing, just this time on top of the polished black stone stair. Once we have that done, we're going to go ahead and then place down an orange stained glass pane coming back from this block, and then we want to place down 1 and 2 mossy cobblestone walls, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green terracotta blocks, followed by another dark prismarine upside down stair, and then a dark prismarine top slab going back from that stair, and then lastly just a zombie head here coming off this top slab. Like we did before, we're going to go ahead and grab our warped signs, and we're going to place them on the sides of these stairs and top slabs like that to both sides. We also want to go ahead and place down a dark oak wood button, which is going to sit right here on these green terracotta blocks, and we're also going to place down a dark oak wood button on these 2 green terracotta blocks here, and also right here on both sides. One thing I did forget to mention, that if you did the in-flight version, you do want to make sure you place down a zombie head above this end rod on the side of this block. I mentioned it in the landed version, but unfortunately I forgot to mention it in the in-flight version, so just make sure you have a zombie head coming off this block on top of that end rod. So again, that should be the same on both sides. After that though, that should be about it. Gonna double check, make sure I'm not missing anything, and everything appears to be good to go. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up everything we have here for this layer, and we'll be going ahead and moving on to our next one, which will be layer number 4. Before we move on to layer 4, I almost actually forgot this. We do have a dark oak wood trapdoor that's sitting on the back here, which is part of this little tail hook. We're gonna go ahead and go to the center stair, and we're just gonna build back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 blocks, and then we're going to place down a dark oak wood trapdoor on the top side of that block. Really straightforward stuff that is going to go on the back there. We're going to build upon that in the next few layers. But yeah, that's going to wrap that up, and we'll be going ahead and moving on to our next layer, which will be layer number 4. Moved into our next layer, we have layer number 4. For layer 4 to start with, we're going to place down a dark oak wood trapdoor on top of the stair up here in the front, and then we're going to place down a polished black stone slab right behind the trapdoor. We then want to place down a piston that's going to sit here. An alternative to the piston could be a polished black stone stair that could be placed down like that. Behind that, we're going to place down 2 black stained glass blocks, and then we're going to place down a black concrete block, and then a row of green terracotta down the center here, a total of 9. We're going to place down a dark prismarine upside down stair on the back, a top slab of dark prismarine, and then 2 dark oak wood trapdoors, like so. Then on the very back here, we're just going to place down an end rod on top of that trapdoor, and then a dark oak wood fence gate coming off the end rod toward the aircraft, with the fence gate opened up toward the end rod. So that is going to wrap up our center line, and we're going to go ahead and then move out to the sides. For the sides here, we're going to place down a dark oak wood trapdoor, then a polished black stone slab like so, and then 1 and 2 black stained glass blocks, and a black concrete block. We're going to go ahead and then place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 green terracotta blocks back, a dark prismarine upside down stair, a zombie head on the side of that stair, and then a mossy cobblestone wall going forward from it. Then taking our green terracotta, we're just going to go ahead and go forward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we're going to place down 2 narrow brick walls, and then a black stained glass pane coming off that those narrow brick walls. After that is all done, we then want to go ahead and connect our little instruments here to the side of the nose. So for this, you have a couple options. If you are not on Java, I'd recommend probably just a wither skeleton skull coming off the side of that slab to connect it together. That would work pretty good. But if you are on Java and have access to the debug stick, which we can go and type the command /give @p Minecraft :debug_stick. So this command here, press enter, will give you this glowing stick. We're going to place down a lever on the side of this block, and then we're going to left click this till we get selected face. We're We're going to go ahead and right click this, set this to floor, and then we're going to go ahead and rotate this by left clicking again, selected facing, and we're going to go ahead and right click again until we have this connect up to our slabs there. So just a nice way to go ahead and create a cleaner connection between the two, but again, you can use these skulls as an alternative. Now once we have that all complete, we are going to go ahead and need to make some banners, and these banners again are pretty straightforward. I'm going to go ahead and just explain them because each one's only one step. So to begin with, we're going to go ahead and need a green banner, and we're going to need our orange dye. We're going to need to do a line across the bottom with our orange dye. We're going to go ahead and then need to grab 2 more green banners, and one green banner is going to have an orange line going vertically on the right side, that third. So not exactly a 50-50 split, but that kind of smaller line on the right side. And we're going to do the same thing on the left side. Again, that smaller line on the left side like that. So we should have these 3 banners once we have that all complete. And on the left side of the aircraft, so I'd recommend going ahead and again building everything that we just did. Make sure that's translated to all sides. And also, I forgot to add a dark prismarine top slab here. So let's make sure that gets added in coming off that stair there. But once you have that all complete, we're going to go ahead and go to our left side first. And we're going to go ahead and place down the banner here with the orange toward the right. Then we're going to place down our 2 green banners with the orange on the bottom. And then a banner here with the orange on the left. That's going to be on this side. And on the right side, it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to place down 2 of our orange banners with the line on the bottom right here. And right here. And then we want to place down our orange banners with the line vertically on the left side, just this spot. So it's going to be a little bit different on each side, so just make sure you're placed in the proper positions. But once you have that all done to both sides, you are pretty much good to go. So again, we have the banners like this on the right side, and the banners like this on the left side. And that right there is going to include everything we have for layer number 4, and with that we'll move on to layer number 5. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 5. For layer 5 to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to place down another brick wall on top of this glass block, and then we're going to place down a glass block right behind that nether brick wall. We then want to place down a black concrete block, and then taking our green terracotta, we're going to place down a row down the center here for a total of 15 green terracotta blocks. We're going to place down 2 upside down pistons. These pistons can be substituted out for a, I would say, probably a green terracotta block, and then or actually I would say an orange concrete block, and then a polished red sandstone top slab. So again, kind of the alternative here is to do something like that instead. But for us, we're going to be using the pistons. We're going to go then place down a smooth red sandstone top slab here, and then a dark prismarine top slab after that. Then a dark oak fence gate, which is going to be opened up toward that slab like so, and then an end rod on top of this one like that. We then want to go ahead and go to the side of the fence gate. We're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4 trapdoors, and right behind this, we're going to place down another row of 4 right behind that. We're going to go ahead and then take our skeleton skulls. We're going to place down 2 skulls here on the side of these pistons, and then 3 mossy cobblestone walls going forward. We're going to go ahead and then place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green terracotta blocks, 2 black concrete blocks, 2 green terracotta, 2 black concrete, and 1 green terracotta, 1 black concrete, and a black stained glass full block. We're going to go then place down another brick wall here, and then 2 black stained glass panes here along the sides, and another brick wall back from that. We then want to place down a green terracotta block that's going to sit right here, and then we're going to place down 2 black stained glass blocks, followed by 2 green terracotta blocks, 2 more black stained glass blocks, then so this is going to kind of again differ on the 2 sides you're on. So just pay close attention to what side you're on in doing this. But what we're going to do here is we're going to be placing down on the right side, a white concrete block, and then it's going to be a red nether brick wall right here. So it's going to be a little bit different there on the sides, so just make sure you take that into account. But again, we have the white concrete and the red nether brick wall. On the other side, it's going to be red concrete and then a white diorite wall. So again, just a little bit of differences there between the 2 sides, but make sure you copy those over properly. After that, we're going to go ahead and take our green stained glass panes. We're going to place down 1 and 2 green stained glass panes back along the side there like so. So that's what it's going to look like. After that's all done, we're going to go ahead and then go up to the cockpit here, and we have this banner design. So it's going to be a black banner with a green stripe down the center. Really simple banner, again 1 step, and it's just going to go on the side of this glass pane here. And then once we have that done, we want to go ahead and then take our orange striped vertically banners, and we're going to place them on the sides here. So one is going to be, so before we go ahead and continue on, I'm going to make one quick fix here. What we're going to do is we're actually going to go ahead and shift this back. So we're actually going to go ahead and place down a red stained glass pane here, and then a direct wall on this right side, and this white concrete block is actually going to be a green terracotta block. We're going to go ahead and go over to the other side. We're going to do the same thing. So we're going to have a white stained glass pane here, and then a red nether brick wall here, and then a green terracotta block in that space. So just make sure those get transferred over properly to both sides. Now, once we have that finished, we can go ahead and then put our banners in. So we have our striped banner that's going to go on this side here, and then a striped banner that's just going to go ahead and continue. Or actually, sorry, it's going to be the other way around here. So just like that, so we have the striped banner on top that's continuing through this one, and this one that starts right there. So that's going to be the window here on the back, and on the other side here, we're going to go ahead and again do it to both sides on these green terracotta blocks on the sides of the glass. Now, for the actual window itself, we do have some banners in play here. We're going to be going ahead and using two black banners. We're going to go ahead and do a green line across the bottom of both these banners, and then a green line going vertically on the right and left side of those banners, so it's going to look like that there. Again, really simple, basically just a two-step for each banner, and that is going to create those window ones we're going to use. We're going to place down the banners here on these glass blocks so that the black is facing toward each other, and over here on the other side, we're going to do the same thing on these two black stained glass blocks. We're also going to go ahead and go to this rear window on the left side, and we're going to go ahead and do the two black banners as well. And then over here on the other side, we're going to go ahead and place down the one banner that's going to be to the left side here. We're going to place down two dark oak wood fence gates on this side. This top one's going to be opened up toward the glass. The bottom one is going to be opened away from the aircraft. So like that. And then coming off the sides here of this bottom fence gate, we're going to go ahead and put dark oak wood signs around it like that. And that's going to finish that off. So pretty straightforward stuff. And also on the right side, we're going to place down a dark oak wood button in those two corners there like so. But once that's all done, that's going to pretty much wrap that off. And on the very back of the aircraft here, we're going to go ahead and, on the left side, we're going to place down a end stone brick wall that's going to come off this banner right there. So it's just going to come off to the side. And that is going to be all we have there for that. So just make sure you pay close attention to those differences there between the two sides. This again is what it should look like for the top-down view. And that is going to conclude everything we have for layer 5 of the build. With that, we'll be going ahead and moving on to layer number 6. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 6. For layer 6 to start with, we're going to place down a flower pot that's going to go on top of this narrow brick wall here. Behind that, we're going to place down a dark prismarine stair, and then we're going to place down a long row of green terracotta all the way down the center line here for a total of 16. We're going to go ahead and place down 3 orange concrete blocks, and then another 2 green terracotta blocks, and a green stained glass pane on the very back there to complete the center line here of the build. To the sides, we're going to go ahead and place down another brick stair like this, and then we're going to take our green terracotta and go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Then we're going to place down 1, 2, 3 mossy cobblestone walls, and then 1, 2, 3 yellow stained glass panes, as well as 1 and 2 iron trapdoors, which we'll use our debug stick here to close. So we'll just left click these till we get selected open false, and then we'll right click these and set these closed along the side. You can also use birchwood trapdoors as an alternative. And then just a dark oak wood trapdoor on the back here. We're going to go ahead and also take our green carpet, and on any trapdoors that we can for our horizontal stabilizers, we're going to place down green carpet. After that is all done, going back up to the front here, we're also going to be using our debug stick to go ahead and modify the front here. We're going to place down a block that comes off this narrow brick stair by 1, and in that space we're going to place down a lever. We're going to left click this till we get selected face wall, right click that, set that to the floor, and you should have this lever on both sides that are going to be in the front there poking out. You can go ahead and substitute this for an end rod if you really choose to, which could be something like that. But again, the levers there are going to be the best block to use. After that though, we're going to go ahead and then place down a wither skeleton skull at a slight angle next to this glass pane. And we want to go ahead and then place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mossy cobblestone walls back, or actually sorry, it's going to be 9. And then we're going to go ahead and grab our 2 wall types here. So we have our red nether brick on top of the diorite, and then the diorite on top of the red stained glass pane. On the other side here, it's going to be the same thing. So red nether brick on top of the white stained glass pane, and diorite on top of the red nether brick wall. So just like that, pretty straightforward. And then we're just going to place down a green stained glass pane after those on both sides. After that's done, that's going to pretty much wrap up everything we have that's different between the two sides. The one thing I do want to go ahead and mention is going to be the numbering. So on the aircraft, I have a 4-digit number 0183. Again, as I mentioned, this is based off of a real variant of the aircraft. You're more than welcome to obviously copy the number, or you can change it to whatever you guys want. But I'm not going to show you guys in the tutorial how to go ahead and do the specific letter or numbered banners in particular, and I'll leave that up to you guys to do yourself or research. There are plenty of tutorials out there that do cover how to do these numbers, but it's just going to read left to right 0183, or 4-digit number, start on this green terracotta block, and over here on the other side it's going to start on that wall, and we have 0183. So pretty straightforward, and that's going to be done on both sides there of the tail. Now, after that is all done, I would recommend going ahead and making sure you have both sides up to date and all squared away, so both sides are matching. And we're going to go ahead and go to our left side real quick and focus on that. We're going to place down a dark oak wood fence post that's going to come off this mossy cobblestone wall, as well as an end rod coming off the fence post. Then we're going to place down a fence gate, and then a fence post, and then just a chain on top of this end stone brick wall. So once you have that all done there, that is going to wrap up everything we have for and that is going to conclude everything we have for layer 6. With that, let's go ahead and move on to layer number 7. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 7. For layer 7, to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to place down a mossy cobblestone wall that's going to go on top of this stair here, and then a green stained glass pane right behind it. We're going to skip a space, and then we're going to place down a deep slate tile full block with a ladder coming off the side of the block facing toward the front. We want to go ahead and then take our green terracotta. We're going to place down 1, 2, 3 green terracotta blocks, 2 black concrete, and then a dark prismarine stair. We're going to go ahead and then place down a row of 4 of dark prismarine slabs, then a row of 5 here of our daylight detectors, then an acacia wood trapdoor, and then a dark oak wood trapdoor, followed by a dark prismarine stair, and 2 green terracotta blocks behind the stair. On the sides of the first green terracotta block, we're going to go ahead and place down a item frame like this. And then in that item frame, we want to go ahead and place down a white bed. That's going to be diagonal like that. And then we want to place down a dark oak wood sign. That's going to be on the side there as well if you're on Java. So it'll look like that there from the side. After that's done, going back up to the front, we're going to place down a mossy cobblestone wall coming off the side of this deep slate block. And then we want to place down a deep slate full block, just 1 block back from that. We're going to go ahead and then place down 1, 2 green terracotta blocks, and 3 green terracotta blocks, and then we're going to place down a black concrete block. After that, we then want to place down a polished black stone stair like this, a daylight detector, and then 1, 2, 3 dark oak wood trapdoors back from that daylight detector. After that is all done, we then want to go ahead and place down a polished andesite top slab that's going to come off the side here of this green terracotta block here. So we're going to make one quick change to the side here. We're going to go ahead and place down a black concrete block here behind that top slab, and we're going to go ahead and move the top slab forward 1. So it's going to look like this here. And we're going to go ahead and obviously make sure we have the same change on the other side. We're going to go ahead and place down a ladder on the side of this deep slate tile block as well. So that is what it's going to look like there from the side. I also went ahead and used banners here as well. I went ahead and did black that goes across the top here of the banner, so it's not splitting it in half, it just splits it a little bit on the top there, and we're going to place these on the side of the black concrete blocks to both sides. So it's going to look just like that there. Once that's all complete, we're going to go ahead and then focus our attention here to the left side. I would recommend going ahead and again copying both sides over at this point in time. But on the left side here, we're going to go ahead and place down a green terracotta block on top of this chain, and then 1 more green terracotta block forward. After that, we're going to go ahead and then place down 2 levers on the side of these blocks, and we're going to go ahead and flip the levers down to connect up to these 2 blocks like that. So that is going to basically finish that off right there, and that is going to include everything we have here for this layer. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving into our next layer, which will be layer number 8. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 8. For layer 8, to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to place down a daylight detector on top of this polished deep slate block, and then a second daylight detector behind it, a dark prismarine stair, and then 3 green terracotta blocks behind it, followed by a dark prismarine slab on the very end of that row. Then going to the vertical stabilizer on the rear, we're going to place down a dark prismarine stair on top of this green terracotta block, then a green terracotta block behind the stair, and a green stained glass pane. We're going to go ahead and grab an item frame and a white bed, and like we did for the previous layer, we're going to go ahead and place down an item frame on the side of this green terracotta block, a white bed in the item frame rotated diagonally, and then a dark oak sign on the side there if you're on Java. And the same thing will be done for both sides. After that's done, going back up to the front, we're going to place down a orange concrete block on top of this wall here, and then an acacia wood trapdoor coming off the block like that. We're going to go ahead and place down a polished blackstone button here to the side, and then 1, 2, 3 green terracotta blocks back, a black concrete block, a polished blackstone wall, and then we're going to place down 2 wither skeleton skulls at slight angles like that on both sides. After that is all done, we're going to go ahead and then place down a polished andesite upside down stair on top of that top slab. And we want to go ahead and take our green stained glass panes, and we're going to place down 2 green stained glass panes going forward. And obviously the same thing will be done over here on this side as well. So that's done on both sides there, and that right there is going to conclude everything we have here for layer number 8. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving into our next layer, layer number 9. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 9. Layer 9 here is going to be our last layer before we go ahead and tackle the rotors. To begin with, we're going to go ahead and place down a polished blackstone button on top of these blocks here, and then behind those, we're going to place down 2 daylight detectors like that going back. We're going to go ahead and then place down an anvil that's going to be on this green terracotta block here in the center, and then we're going to place down chains around the 4 sides on top of those blocks like that for the basically the base of our rotors. Moving to our tail, we're going to go ahead and place down a dark prismarine stair on top of this one here, and then we're going to place down a green terracotta block behind it. Coming off the stair, we're going to place down a green mossy cobblestone wall to the right side, and then a dark oak wood sign on the 2 sides like that. Coming off this wall further, we're going to place down a block of netherite. And then after we have that block of netherite placed, we want to go ahead and grab ourselves some polished blackstone walls and also some wither skeleton skulls. We're going to go ahead and place down 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks going forward from that block of netherite. And then we're going to place down 1, 2, 3 wither skeleton skulls coming off that 4th block like that toward it. And then we're going to place down a polished blackstone wall going up this way at an angle, followed by a second one, and then a wither skeleton skull. Or actually, sorry, we're just going to leave it with 2 walls like that instead. And on the bottom here, we're going to place down a wither skeleton skull like that, then a polished blackstone wall, and then a wither skeleton skull like that going down from it. And that's going to make your tail rotor and complete what we have for that. The last final thing we're going to have for this tutorial now is just to go ahead and do the top rotors. So I'm going to go ahead and grab materials and we'll finish the rest of this build off. Moving into the last section of the tutorial, we'll be going ahead and doing our rotors. For our rotors here, to go ahead and get started with, we're going to place down a green terracotta block on top of this one, then a polished blackstone wall in the 4 directions like so. We then want to go ahead and place down a dark oak wood fence gate that's going to come off those walls going in all 4 directions. And then we're going to place down a wither skeleton skull that's going to be on the side of this wall, and we're going to kind of just go around and place them off the walls like this, so going all the way around, so it should look like this from up above. Then we want to place down a dark oak wood trapdoor on the middle block, and then a green carpet on top of the polished blackstone walls. We then want to take our polished blackstone slabs, and we're going to go ahead and build rows of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of these slabs going off of these fence posts. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And we're going to go ahead and do this for each one of these fence gates. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then over here, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You get the point there, it will connect up like that. And once you have that all complete, that's going to complete the rotors. And the very last thing we're going to do here is we're going to need our debug stick. So let me go ahead and just type in the commands real quick, be a little bit faster. So we have our debug stick, and we just want to go and go to our pistons. We're going to left click to get selected extended false prompt. We'll right click that and get rid of that wood portion. And we're going to do this for each one of our pistons. So we have the 3 on the bottom, 1 on the nose, and then also the 2 here on the tail. So just go ahead and do that. And once you have that done, you'll see it gets kind of helps with the shaping of the build overall and all that stuff. But that right there is going to wrap up my tutorial here for the PZL W-3WARM Hopefully you guys do enjoy this tutorial and are able to put it to good use. If you do end up using this build, I do ask that you guys give me proper credit for it. This can be linked from a on the build to my channel or this video if this does appear on your social media sites. As long as you guys give me proper credit for the build, you're free as a fair project you guys are working on. Again, a big thanks to Derek Frost Westbrook for commissioning this build, and if you guys are interested in commissioning a build for yourself, definitely feel free to reach out via Discord or my email, garrett2x4@gmail.com, to discuss pricing and if we can get that vehicle or whatever you choose to be commissioned done for you. With that though, thank you guys again so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This has been Garrett2x4, and I'll see you guys next time.